Former AEW World Champion MJF makes his return at Double or Nothing, attacking Adam Cole and also pledging his loyalty to All Elite Wrestling. Gangrel rises and assists Adam Copeland in retaining the TNT Championship against Malachi Black. Mercedes Mone wins the TBS Championship in her AEW in-ring debut. The Elite are victorious in Anarchy in the Arena. Swerve Strickland has retained the AEW World Championship. John Moxley defeats Konosuke Takeshita. Juice Robinson is back in All Elite Wrestling, returning last night at Double or Nothing. Chris Jericho has retained the FTW Championship. Trent says he's done after being defeated by Orange Cassidy. Timeless Toni Storm is still the AEW Women's World Champion. Will Ospreay wins the AEW International Championship, and some big stakes are added for this year's Owen Hart Cup. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start talking about MJF. The former AEW World Champion is back in All Elite Wrestling, and he has declared his loyalty to the company. Maxwell Jacob Friedman returned at Double or Nothing, and like the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, in his words, he's not effing leaving. When it comes to AEW, MJF returned at the pay-per-view to confront Adam Cole, who made a surprise appearance on the show as well. Cole initially coming out following Will Ospreay's championship victory, the international championship victory over Roderick Strong. He ran down the crowd before pulling out the devil mask he used while turning on his former friend and tag team partner MJF. Cole made a promise to the crowd that once his ankle is 100% healed, he would give the devil his due. His words seemingly prompted a short video on the Titantron showing a house with MJF's belongings, gear, and signature Burberry scarf. A figure in the video reconnected a torn-up photo of MJF and Cole from their tag team days last year in 2023 before MJF's music hit in the arena. MJF came down the ramp, looked at the devil mask laying in the ring, and stared down Cole for a brief period before pulling him into a hug. MJF then delivered a low blow to Cole and stood looking at the crowd with a huge smile on his face before suplexing the recovering star. As Cole slid out of the ring, MJF grabbed the mic and cut a scathing promo. He said that he gave Cole something he'd never given anyone: trust. And thanks to Cole, it's never happening again. Quote, I don't need a New Japan or a Vince McMahon to make MJF because MJF made MJF, he said. He then stomped on the mask and hit an elbow drop on it before throwing it into the crowd. He told the camera to zoom in on a new tattoo on the back of his calf, which reads, always bet on yourself, with a poker chip and an AEW logo. He said when it comes to AEW, call him the Wolf of Wrestling because he's not leaving the company, signifying that the bidding war of 2024 between MJF, WWE, and AEW has come to an end. Now, when it comes to some more backstage details on this comes courtesy of Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, who has said that MJF, of course, is back in AEW and has returned with a fiery promo. Plans, reportedly, according to Sapp, have been in motion for MJF's return for quite some time, with AEW Double or Nothing long being the target date. Fightful have been told that preparations were made well ahead of time to plan out his return. Now, Fightful say they've not heard that MJF actually underwent shoulder surgery, as he told some in the industry that he had worn a brace to help throw people off his track in recent weeks. MJF was legitimately injured going into AEW World's End. The nature of Adam Cole's injury played a major factor into the creative last year, and the ramifications are still felt. There were plans for a major match between the two last year, and as of the spring, it didn't look like that would be possible upon MJF's immediate return, although Cole did get physical during MJF's return segment. There have been additional MJF themes prepared by Mikey Ruckus, including the orchestral version you heard on the promo and a piano version. There have also been significant creative plans in order for MJF to be involved in a top feud. Now, as if MJF didn't make it clear enough, he's in AEW for the long term and is on a multi-million-dollar per year contract. Most of the roster believed that MJF would be returning last night, and Fightful had reported that he'd be coming back imminently. Word was that the plan was for him to fly to another city out west to be driven to the show. Nobody that Fightful spoke to saw him ahead of the return. It had been reported that he had flown into Phoenix last night and driven to Las Vegas for the show. So what are your thoughts on MJF's return? What do you think's next for him now that he seemingly put to bed his issue with Adam Cole for now? Do you think he goes after the AEW World Championship? Do you think he goes after Samoa Joe? What do you think is next for Maxwell Jacob Friedman? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, some updates when it comes to Adam Copeland. First of which, Gangrel's return. Two members of the Brood reunited at Double or Nothing, and Gangrel helped Adam Copeland retain his TNT Championship by rising through the ring during Copeland's barbed wire steel cage match against Malachi Black. The match started fast, furious, and bloody, with the men first jousting with chairs in the ring before Copeland pulled barbed wire off the cage and wrapped it around the top turnbuckle and drew first blood, cutting Black open. He was able to dodge the weapon twice, but Black got his revenge and also drew blood from the champion. Black introduced a barbed wire bat to Copeland's forehead, but also took a shot to the stomach with it. Both men scaled the cage, and Black powerbombed Copeland through a table, but the champion kicked out. He hit a spear when he recovered, then wrapped Black in barbed wire around another table. Copeland climbed to the very top of the cage and hit an elbow drop onto Black to send him through the table, although it wasn't directly through the table and it looked like Adam Copeland actually came down on his feet, maybe hurting his knees in the process. Copeland also kicked Black through the door of the cage and hit a spear on the outside. Brody King and Buddy Matthews came down the ramp and pretended to side with Copeland before faking him out and getting him back into the cage. King and Matthews wrapped Copeland in barbed wire, once locked back inside before the lights in the arena flashed from black to red, and Gangrel came up through the ring, spitting blood in the face of King. He beat down the House of Black before eating a super kick from Black. Copeland hit a spear off the distraction. While still covered in barbed wire, he wrapped more wire around Black's head before putting him into a crossface. Black didn't tap out but passed out, and Copeland was declared the winner. With the victory, Copeland not only retained his TNT Championship, but also got his wedding ring back from the stable and avoided having to join the House of Black. Now, as I mentioned, when it came to this spot, though, there was some concern about Copeland coming out of the match that possibly the WWE Hall of Famer may have suffered an injury. Now, AEW CEO Tony Khan has given an update on Adam Copeland's health following the Hall of Famer's brutal match with Malachi Black at Double or Nothing. On the post-show press conference, Khan disclosed that Copeland was being checked out by AEW's medical staff and hoped that the TNT champion isn't hurt. He said, quote, "Speaking of the face of TNT, Mr. Copeland, we are checking him out. That was an amazing barbed wire cage match. He has been so awesome since he came in, and I'm knocking on all wood and crossing all my fingers and toes that he is okay," said Khan. Adam Copeland arriving in AEW came at a perfect time for us. What a run he is having. I was hoping he would be sitting here with the press conference with Tanahashi-san and myself right now. He's really beat up, but I'll cross my fingers and hope that he's okay. That would be the best thing for AEW. Now, certainly it was a hard-hitting pay-per-view, and that was a hard-hitting barbed wire steel cage match. We have a great TNT champion, and we're blessed to have the Rated R superstar in AEW. So again, if we get any more details on any injuries or Copeland's health moving forward, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, last night marked the in-ring debut of Mercedes Mone in All Elite Wrestling. Mercedes Mone marked her AEW in-ring debut with a victory over Willow Nightingale to win the TBS Championship at Double or Nothing. Both challenger and champion turned up for a rematch of their ill-fated clash last year over the New Japan Strong Women's Openweight Championship, during which Mone sustained a career-threatening ankle injury and Nightingale picked up the win, albeit with an asterisk. The bout was as physical as it was billed to be, with both targeting one another's leg joints in spiteful attacks, but it would take some shenanigans before finding its finish. Following a Meteora to Willow Nightingale on the outside, Mercedes Mone continued to shove Chris Statlander and goad her into leaping onto the apron to follow her. As Statlander and Stokely Hathaway wrestled with Aubrey Edwards, Nightingale delivered the Babe with the powerbomb to score a clear visual pin on her challenger, but the referee was late to the count and Mone managed to kick out. It was then that the CEO mustered a comeback capped off with the Mone Maker to score the pinfall and take her revenge. As Mone celebrated with her new title, Statlander helped Willow Nightingale to her feet as she was lambasted by Stokely Hathaway. Appearing to defend her friend, Stat pushed Hathaway to the ground, but it would transpire to be a ruse as Statlander laid Nightingale out on the ramp and aligned back with Hathaway to close out the segment. So what did you make of Mercedes Moné winning the title? What did you make of the heel turn? Let me know your reaction to all of that. Now, Moné did actually confirm a report that was going around prior to Double or Nothing yesterday. She has confirmed reports that she was cleared to wrestle in December, but waited until Double or Nothing 2024 to get back into the ring. Prior to Sunday's Double or Nothing, Moné said in an interview that she was ready to wrestle at the end of last year, but AEW CEO Tony Khan wanted to find the perfect spot for her debut. At the Double or Nothing post-show media scrum, Moné stated that Khan asked her if she could wait a little while to make her in-ring debut at Double or Nothing, to which she gladly agreed. Quote, the beginning of the year, we talked, signed a deal, made it happen, and we were really thinking about when was the perfect place and time for me to debut in the ring. We knew March 13, that being Dynamite Big Business, was going to be amazing at the Boston Garden. When Tony called me and said, I have the perfect place for you to debut, Boston, baby, I was like, Tony, you are just speaking my language. You are just speaking the money, said Moné. And then he said, we are celebrating AEW's 5-year anniversary here in Las Vegas for Double or Nothing. Can you wait? I said, bitch, I've been waiting a whole year. Of course I can wait. So this is the perfect place, the grandest place to make my in-ring debut. So she has confirmed she has been ready to go since December. Now she's made her AEW in-ring debut. Do you expect Moné to wrestle more frequently on AEW television? Now, last night also was Anarchy in the arena, with the Elite picking up a big victory over Team AEW. Anarchy was loosed on AEW Double or Nothing, where the blood-dimmed tide receded in Las Vegas. The Elite stood victorious over the AEW faithful thanks to the scapegoat Jack Perry, who survived getting knocked out after crashing a bus into Darby Allin and even getting lit on fire to land the final blow and pin Bryan Danielson. Danielson had teamed with FTR and Darby Allin to challenge the corrupt authority of the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada and Perry. The match lived up to its anarchic name, with not only the aforementioned attempted manslaughter and emulation, but also Dax Harwood double-fisting Bourbon. Kazuchika Okada delivered a thumbtack-laced Rainmaker to Cash Wheeler. There was even an attack on AEW President Tony Khan. Khan was dragged into the nonsense by Perry, only to be thrown down the ramp and flee to the back. Darby Allin was at one point strung from his ankles, dangling from the ceiling as the conclusion of the match played out, bloodied and helpless to intercede. The match was Perry's first AEW match since All In last year. Of course, after that match, infamously, Perry ended up in a backstage altercation with CM Punk, which led to Punk's firing and Perry's suspension from the company. Perry initially showed up in New Japan, tearing up his AEW contract before he returned to AEW Dynasty and was reinstated by the Young Bucks earlier this year. What did you make of Anarchy in the arena? Swerve Strickland is still the AEW World Champion after defeating Christian Cage and dealing with plenty of interference from Cage's Patriarchy faction during their Double or Nothing match. Nick Wayne started off the interference, taking a cheap shot to Strickland from the outside before Cage beat him down in the corner. Strickland hit a scoop power slam on Cage, earning an extremely close near fall. The champion tried to tie up Cage by pulling his turtleneck over his head, and he hit multiple neck breakers. After getting another near fall on Cage, Mother Wayne grabbed the AEW World Championship belt, but was intercepted by Prince Nana. The referee caught Nana with the belt and ejected him from ringside. The Patriarchy wasn't long for ringside either, however, though Killswitch and Wayne got multiple cheap shots in on the champion. The referee caught Killswitch and ejected everyone from ringside. Strickland moved the steps from around the ring, but ended up being the one to go face first into them before Wayne ran out from the back and hit a cutter. Cage hit a kill switch, but when Wayne got Strickland back into the ring, but he kicked out. Prince Nana ran out from the back to with a pipe to chase off Wayne. Cage and Strickland battled onto the announce desk, and Cage looked for the kill switch, but ate a swerve stomp instead. Both men struggled to make it back into the ring, barely beating the 10 count. Cage looked for a spear, but Strickland caught him. He hit another stomp, then a house call before covering Cage for the victory. Now, Jon Moxley defeated Konosuke Takeshita last night, in which was an IWGP World Championship Eliminator match. Konosuke Takeshita had the chance at history slip through his fingers on Sunday. The Don Callis family member came within inches of beating IWGP World Champion Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing, which would have earned Takeshita a shot at the coveted title. Takeshita seemed to have things in hand until his mentor Don Callis got involved and instructed Takeshita to get an underhanded victory with a steel chair. Takeshita was hoisted on his own petard as Moxley drove him into the chair with a Death Rider to win the match and crush Takeshita's chances at glory in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Moxley has been the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion since April, when he defeated Tetsuya Naito to win the title for the first time at the New Japan Windy City Riot event in Chicago. Now, Juice Robinson, he is back in All Elite Wrestling. Now, we spoke about the possibility yesterday of the Bang Bang Gang getting a member back. And yes, the Bang Bang Gang had some rock hard help in their AEW Unified Trios Championship defense on Sunday. Juice Robinson returned from injury to help Jay White and the Guns retain their Trios titles against Pac, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix at Double or Nothing. Robinson appeared out of nowhere, pushing Pac off the top rope, derailing the former international champion's momentum and opening him up for a Blade Runner from Jay White for the victory. Robinson has not wrestled since January of this year, winning an 8-man tag team match alongside the Guns and Jay White over the Acclaimed, Billy Gunn and MJF. Robinson suffered an injury in November that required surgery, and the former IWGP United States champion disappeared from programming. Robinson had been said to be in Las Vegas ahead of Sunday's event, marking his return, predicted by many in the know. Robinson has returned in time for the build to the third AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door event, as well as the upcoming Owen Hart Cup. Chris Jericho is still the FTW champion and looks like he's hired a bounty hunter to help him retain the FTW championship at Double or Nothing against former champion Hook and Kachisori Shibata. Both a masked Brian Keith and Big Bill interfered on Jericho's behalf, helping the Learning Tree walk out of Las Vegas with his gold intact. The champion introduced a bag of dice into the match and was promptly suplexed onto them by both challengers. All three men then confronted each other in the middle of the ring with kendo sticks, with Jericho swinging first at both Hook and Shibata with neither moving, before beating up the champion with their weapons. Shibata set up a table in the ring and Hook got Jericho up onto it. Hook attempted to get to the top rope, but was interrupted by Shibata, who hit a Death Valley driver with Hook onto Jericho, but the table didn't break and it looked as though Hook clipped the back of his head off the table. Hook got the champion into a red rum, but was blindsided by Big Bill, who tried to chokeslam him through the table on the outside. Hook was able to counter and sent Big Bill through it instead. Back in the ring, Jericho got the Walls of Jericho locked in on Shibata, who countered into a figure four. Hook got back in the ring and locked in the red drum on Jericho as well, mirroring how both challengers defeated Keith to make the match a triple threat. Keith, dressed in black and wearing a luchador mask, got into the ring and hit Hook and Shibata with a trash can and put it over Shibata's head. Hook ate a Judas effect from Jericho, who then pinned Shibata, still in the trash can, to get the victory and retain the FTW Championship. So what are your thoughts on Chris Jericho's Learning Tree, now not only having Big Bill, but also Keith too? Now, could Trent Beretta be done in All Elite Wrestling? Well, Trent Beretta was left embarrassed by Orange Cassidy in their grudge match at AEW Double or Nothing, walking out of the arena through the crowd looking very much like a man taking his ball and going home. The former best friends duked it out in a physical contest, with Cassidy adopting a darker ring attire to set the tone. The match itself came to an end abruptly when Freshly Squeezed managed to maneuver Beretta into a quick pin for the victory, after which Beretta stormed out of the ring to be met by Roppongi Vice teammate Rocky Romero, who tried to reason with his partner as Renee Paquette rushed to get a comment after the loss. It was then that he simply declared that he was done, with no further context, pushing Romero away as he left the arena. The loss was a significant bump on the road for Beretta, having turned on Cassidy in April to ignite this feud. He later faced his longtime tag team partner Chuck Taylor in a parking lot brawl as a result of the turn and would win that bout. It has since transpired that the brawl may have been Taylor's final match, as it looks unlikely that he'll be able to wrestle again in the future. Timeless Toni Storm is still the AEW Women's World Champion. She walked out of Las Vegas in AEW's Double or Nothing pay-per-view as still the champion after a hellacious bout against the Professor Serena Deeb. Storm was accompanied by Luther and Mariah May, the latter of whom attempted to get involved in the match at one point and throw in the towel for Storm, while Deeb had her mentor in a submission hold before Storm could get to the ropes. Deeb and the champion went back and forth for much of the match, with Deeb targeting Storm's left knee, along with other submission attempts like an abdominal stretch and armbar. Storm attempted her own at one point in the match, locking in a cloverleaf before Deeb was able to break the hold. Storm reversed a pinfall attempt into Storm 0, but her opponent was able to kick out. Both women ended up on the apron, and Storm looked to hit her finisher again, but Deeb countered and hit 3 dragon screws with Storm's knees tangled in the ropes. She hit the Deeb tox on the apron and another in the middle of the ring, but Storm was able to kick out. Deeb went to the middle rope, but the champion intercepted her. After bashing Deeb's head off the rope, Storm hit a pile driver and followed it up with another Storm 0 for the victory to retain her championship. Will Ospreay is the brand new AEW International Champion. He overcame Roderick Strong at AEW Double or Nothing to capture the International Championship. The aerial assassin had to endure interference from Mike Bennett, Matt Taven, and Wardlow, but he would ultimately win his first title with the promotion with a hidden blade followed by a Stormbreaker. Following his victory over Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty, Ospreay vowed not to use the Storm Driver 91 after seeing it had left a lasting impact on his opponent. That plot came into play during his match with Strong, as he was implored by Don Callis to use the move on an already down champion. Ospreay reluctantly positioned Strong for the maneuver, but ultimately hesitated and sought to deliver Stormbreaker. However, Strong reversed out of it, landing a gut check followed by a running drop kick, which Ospreay managed to kick out of. There was a briefly scary moment during Matt Taven and Mike Bennett's early involvement. Ospreay flipped out of a Doomsday Device position on the outside of the ring, but landed on the floor directly on his head. The match saw a brief pause after which, but he would continue the match as usual. He's also said he wants to defend the championship internationally in the likes of Rev Pro, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and other promotions. So what do you think is next for Will Ospreay, and what do you think is going to happen when it comes to Ospreay and the Don Callis family? Let me know how you think that one is going to play out. And finally, some big stakes have been announced for the Owen Hart Cup this year. Owen Hart Cup season has arrived, and this year's men's and women's Owen Hart Cup tournaments will carry a huge prize. During the pre-show of AEW Double or Nothing, company president Tony Khan and Owen Hart's widow, Dr. Martha Hart, announced that this year's winners of both tournaments will receive world title matches at AEW All In on August 25 in Wembley Stadium in London, England. The announcement wasn't clear on when the tournament will begin, nor how wide the field will be, but the finals of this year's tournament will take place in Owen's hometown of Calgary, Alberta, Canada on July 10, which will be during the famous Calgary Stampede. This year's tournament also marks 25 years since Hart's tragic death in Kansas City, Missouri during the Overedge pay-per-view in May of 1999. This year's tournament will be the third iteration of the tournament, which began in 2022. The inaugural tournament winners were Adam Cole and Britt Baker, while Ricky Starks and Willow Nightingale won last year's tournaments. All 3 tournaments have been presented in collaboration with Dr. Hart's Owen Hart Foundation, which provides scholarships to underprivileged youths. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.